where do I begin? Confederations Cup, we have that. What a great game that was. Brazil, Spain. I liked it. I thought it was overall a pretty good game. And then, obviously, we have Aaron Hernandez, what's going on with that. The NBA draft, very interesting. We'll talk about that, a little bit about that. And the big trade, obviously, between Boston and Brooklyn. What's going down with that, as well as where should Dwight Howard go? I mean, he's obviously a free agent, and he has his options, but obviously there's one fit in particular that I believe is better than the Lakers. But obviously we'll start out with the Confederations Cup final that just ended about half an hour ago. Brazil, Spain, two of the best countries in the world. When it comes to soccer, Brazil, obviously they're traditional five-time World Cup champions, and Spain, they won the World Cup the European Championships in 2008 and last year, and they won the World Cup just 3 years ago. Absolutely dominating opponents. Had a great semifinal against Spain where it went to PKs, but Brazil in their home country, wow, what a game that was early. Fred getting on the board. It's only 2 minutes in the game. Big errors by the Spain defense that usually is pretty well in the back. Big slip up by Casillas, obviously trying to get that ball, but Fred just on the ground just kicks it into the back of the net. 1-0 Brazil. Right before halftime, Neymar gets an absolutely beautiful ball thrown into the box, and great strike. Great. He's a right-footed guy, by the way. If you guys watched it, he is a right-footed guy and just blasted it past Casillas with his left foot. 2-0 going into the half. Spain had their possession, as always, because that's Spain. But Brazil Brazil just was typical Brazil. And coming out in the second half, you would assume that Spain had a game plan. But that ended pretty early, considering Fred got another goal, his second on the night, in the 47th minute. 3-0 Spain. Obviously, the frustration set in for the Spanish. Gerard Piqué getting ejected. Sergio Ramos missing a PK. Weird. Arbeloa getting a yellow card. It was very physical. And when it came down to it, Brazil was the better team. Spain likes to do that one-touch passing, that triangle offense, I guess. To put it in soccer terms. And Brazil was just on the ball right from the get-go, right from each pass. There was at least one, if not two defenders to the ball every time. And Spain just could not get their offense going whatsoever. They had a couple good shots, but Julio Cesar, the goalie for Brazil, absolutely amazing, especially late in the second half. He had a couple good saves. Torres, ineffective, really not as well. Jesus Navas came in, got the PK for Spain. Obviously, Sergio Ramos couldn't convert it. Juan Mata also ineffective as well. To be honest, Spain really just did not play their game. It wasn't their night. And congratulations to Brazil. I mean, what a performance that they had. Neymar, again, spectacular. He has something in the, I think, 25 or 26 goals in 39 matches for Brazil. That is stunning. And Brazil, I think, in the eye of most people, are considered the favorite to do well in the World Cup. They're probably the favorites to win now. I mean, when you dismantle a team like Spain in the fashion that you guys did, yeah, they are definitely favorites. Going in right now, they're definitely in a hot streak. Hulk played a phenomenal game, and obviously Fred just getting to the ball when he needed to. He was there attacking the whole game. Obviously, pretty much just going through the Spanish defense. It was a great game, especially defensively as well, containing Pedro pretty well. And obviously, Fernando Torres was held in check by that Brazilian defense. Pretty good. Dani Alves, Thiago Silva, the captain, David Luiz. What a ball that he saved. It could have been 2-1 early in early in the second half when I believe it is Pedro. He gets the ball and he gets it past Julio Cesar, and then David Luiz out of nowhere just puts the ball into the air, was about to go in the back of the net, and just gets all his strength. He just runs to the ball and kicks it up into the Brazilian stands. Unbelievable. So overall, good for Brazil, obviously. There was a lot of questions going into this Confederations Cup. How good is this Brazil team? How will they match up against Spain? Obviously, this was the matchup that we expected going into this cup, and clearly Brazil delivered. For Spain, clearly, Casillas, he kept them in the game for the most part, but that first goal, obviously, early, really, I think, shook some of his confidence away. And in the second half, you can't do anything about that second goal. Let's be honest. Neymar just absolutely blasted it by Casillas. He couldn't have done anything about it. And that third goal, it was just poor defense. It was just a good transition attack, which pretty much, that's what Brazil did after Spain went down to 10 men. They were just counterattack after counterattack after counterattack. So, going forward, Brazil is the favorite. Spain, I wouldn't say they have a lot of questions. I mean, they're a pretty good team, let's be honest. They are in the top 3, if not top 5 teams that are favored to win the World Cup next year. So, I wouldn't worry too much about Spain. I mean, they have a solid roster. I mean, they obviously have a lot of depth. I mean, when you have Cesar Azpilicueta on the bench, when you have Cesc Fabregas on the bench, when you have David Silva, Navas, David Villa came in late, and Roberto Soldado, I mean, you have a squad that is interchangeable. It's just a matter of what works and what doesn't, and tonight was not Spain's night. In the third place match, it was actually really good if you got to watch it. It was on at noon today. Uruguay, Italy, obviously lost in the semifinals, and they played for a third place match. Great game. Italy up early. Edison Cavani for Uruguay. I'm telling you, whoever gets this guy, he's going to be, because he's a free agent in the club market. Whoever gets this guy, man, he is going to be something special. The striker from Napoli, wow. 2 goals in the 58th minute and in the 78th minute to keep Uruguay in this game, and it went down to PKs, and Italy, who's traditionally not as great on PKs, came out victorious 3-2. So Italy finishing up third place, Uruguay fourth. Both teams actually look good in this game overall. It was a long game, so it was hard back and forth, but congratulations to Italy on getting third place, and obviously Brazil for winning the Confederations Cup for the third straight time. Moving on to football, from football to football, Aaron Hernandez. I guess if you've been living under a rock for the last week or so, Aaron Hernandez has been charged with murdering his friend after the two had a dispute during a trip to a nightclub. He was arrested on Wednesday and charged with first-degree murder of 27-year-old Odin Lloyd, semi-pro football player whose body was found in an industrial park about a mile from the former New England Patriots tight end's home. Hernandez was actually released by the Patriots less than 2 hours after the arrest, pleaded not guilty, and he has been ordered to be held without bail. He also faces 5 gun-related charges, which were revealed Wednesday afternoon in the Attleboro District Court. This case is really shocking, especially considering the fact that he's also connected to he's at least being investigated to a double homicide in Boston last summer. The guy's 23 years old. Forget the fact that it's the tight ends, that New England doesn't have any tight ends. Forget the fact that he's released. That's not really the issue. What the issue is that this guy, again, 23 years old, he had a history of this, and the Patriots did not see this coming. He had problems at Florida, a lot of charges, I think, with marijuana, different altercations at Florida. But when you're a good athlete in college at an elite program, they'll let that stuff slide by a little bit. Not saying that's what Florida did, but, let's be honest. He was Tim Tebow's favorite target during those golden years when they won national championships. When he gets to the NFL, he could have been a first round pick if it wasn't for his off the field issues. That's why he dropped at the fourth round in the first place. And he goes to a New England team that doesn't really deal with. They don't tolerate a lot of issues. I mean, they do take on players that have a history past. I mean, obviously you have Chad Ochocinco, you have Albert Haynesworth. Those at least two examples of players that have run into the law at some point or have just been very, I guess, not different from what New England likes to do. And then Hernandez came in, again, phenomenal target. He's a big guy, 6'6", 250 pounds. He's he's huge and fast for a tight end. This guy has speed, and he's making so much money, and he has a good life. And he's making millions of dollars playing a game that only a handful of us can play at an elite level. The fact that you're throwing your life away, that is shocking. That is absolutely shocking. The way that I get it. His life, as he knows it, as he knew it, is pretty much over. I mean, there's no one that's gonna pick him up off waivers. I mean, anytime soon. This case isn't going to be in court for the next 8 to 10 months. I mean, no one. He's done for this season. That's a guarantee. It bothers. It should bother people, and it should be a warning sign to NFL teams looking to draft a player that has a checkered past. I mean, this is what could happen. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, you draft a safe guy, that's fine. But when you try to draft the guy that has is better and has more of an upside but has a checkered past, be careful. And this is a perfect example. The charges against Aaron Hernandez, again, the main one, which we obviously has been the topic of discussion over all sports media and media in general. First-degree murder, one count. The one count for firing a firearm without a license. 2 possession large capacity firearms, and 2 possession firearms without an FID card. So obviously that's a lot on his plate, and the fact that he's even held without bail, that says something about the charges. That says that the police have enough evidence against Hernandez that he probably should not be released into public again, because you never know what's going to happen. But honestly, this is becoming a serious issue in the NFL. I think this is that with Hernandez, it made it 29 arrests on the season since the Super Bowl, actually, somewhere in the 28-29 ballpark. That is ridiculous. That is absolutely insane, considering a lot. Again, these players are doing what a lot of us wish we could do, which is play professional football for a living, making really good money, regardless of whether you're on the practice squad or a star like Hernandez was. And they're throwing their lives away for what? For what? I don't understand it. And I guess there are people out there that are saying, yeah, Hernandez is, there's a reason why he has a past. Like, he had a rough childhood, and his dad died and all that stuff. Yeah, that happens to a lot of people. It happens to a lot of people growing up. 10, 12, 13 years old. They might have, their parent dies. They go through it. They can go through something serious. But there are people who overcome that. Again, he makes so much money. He can go see, a psychiatrist, a therapist, just something that will allow him to escape what his past and overcome the problems that he had, and he could be a better person. But let's be honest, if these allegations are true, and I was just listening to a couple of shows on sports radio about this Aaron Hernandez is just pure evil. That's just, regardless of